I thought we had a better process tonight, honestly. I thought, we had the puck more, made more plays, allowed our forwards to kind of come through the neutral ice a little bit more. I think when you're making adjustments kind of on the fly, it's not going to be perfect right away, but, I thought our process was much better, obviously.
Auston Matthews spoke after the Maple Leafs lost again and again. The team had just dropped another game, falling further in the standings. Leads were lost, points slipped away. In that moment, the captain addressed the media. His words focused on mindset and effort, marking his first clear public response during Toronto's recent collapse. The Toronto Maple Leafs lost 5-3 to the Nashville Predators in their most recent game. The loss came after the team held leads during the night but failed to protect them through the final period. Nashville scored 3 times in the third period. Steven Stamkos scored an empty net goal late to seal the result. Toronto left the ice without a single point. After the game, Auston Matthews spoke to reporters. It was his clearest public statement during the team's losing stretch. Matthews said, "I think mentally we're fine." He followed that by focusing on how the team played rather than the final score. He said the process was better and that the team showed good energy throughout the game. Matthews added that even though the team was upset about the result, there were positives to take forward. He said the Leafs could move ahead by building on the things they did well and by trying to carry that level of play through a full 60 minutes. His comments were delivered calmly and without emotion. This loss added to a difficult stretch for Toronto. Just days earlier, the Maple Leafs were shut out 4-0 by the Washington Capitals. It was Toronto's first shutout loss of the season. The Leafs recorded 22 shots on goal in that game, but did not score. Washington goalie Logan Thompson stopped all 22 shots he faced. That shutout loss followed another difficult result. Toronto had been defeated 5-1 by the Dallas Stars. Dallas scored 4 goals in the third period of that game. The Leafs' only goal came shorthanded. Toronto failed to score on the power play and struggled to contain pressure late in the game. Over this stretch, the Maple Leafs lost multiple games in a short span. In several of those losses, the team either surrendered leads or failed to respond after falling behind. These outcomes contributed to Toronto sliding down the Atlantic Division standings. Matthews' comments came as questions around the team's mindset continued to grow. While he stated the team was mentally fine, the results on the ice showed repeated breakdowns late in games. Against Nashville, Toronto allowed multiple third-period goals. Against Dallas, the game slipped away in the final frame. Earlier in the season, Matthews had also spoken about personal frustration. At that time, he said the season had been a grind. His goal total was lower than in previous years. Matthews has scored 69 goals in a single season before and 60 goals in another. During this stretch, his production was far below those levels. Matthews missed time earlier in the season due to a lower body injury. The injury occurred after a collision with Boston Bruins defenseman Nikita Zadorov. Matthews missed several games as a result. Before the injury, he recorded 9 goals and 5 assists in 17 games. During Matthews' absence, the team struggled to find consistency. William Nylander took on more responsibility. The Leafs continued to produce uneven results. Some games showed strong offensive effort, while others lacked finish and structure. One example came against the Chicago Blackhawks. Toronto scored 2 goals in 8 seconds late in the third period to win 3-2. Matthews scored on the power play and added an assist in that game. Joseph Woll made 23 saves. The win briefly stopped a losing streak. However, that momentum did not last. Toronto returned to losing games soon after. The shutout loss to Washington and the defeats to Dallas and Nashville followed. These losses formed the backdrop for Matthews' recent comments. Behind the bench, head coach Craig Berube addressed the team directly after the shutout loss. Reports stated that Berube delivered a short and direct message to the players. The message was meant to highlight performance standards and accountability. Berube's approach has been firm. His coaching style focuses on structure and responsibility. These expectations have been emphasized during this difficult stretch. The coaching staff has not publicly softened its stance following the losses. Matthews' role as captain places his words under close attention. His statements focused on process, effort, and patience. He did not reference external criticism or speculation. He did not blame injuries or schedules. He limited his remarks to what the team showed on the ice. Against Nashville, Matthews noted that the team played with energy. He said the Leafs could take parts of that game and apply them moving forward. His comments reflected a focus on incremental improvement rather than immediate results. Statistically, the Leafs have struggled to convert chances during this period. In several games, shot totals were close or favored Toronto, but goals did not follow. Power play opportunities went unused. Defensive coverage broke down late. The loss to Washington highlighted this pattern. Toronto generated shots but failed to score. Washington capitalized on its chances. The outcome widened the gap between effort and result. In the Dallas game, the third period exposed breakdowns. 4 goals allowed in one period shifted the game completely. Toronto did not recover. These facts frame the context of Matthews breaking his silence. His comments did not deny the losses. They did not downplay the standings. They addressed mindset and execution. At the time of his remarks, Toronto was near the bottom of the Atlantic Division. Other teams in the division had gained points during the same span. Nashville, Dallas, and Washington all recorded wins against Toronto in a short window. Matthews' quotes were reported widely following the Nashville loss. Matthews' words stand as a documented response to this stretch, grounded in performance details rather than emotion. This script reflects verified reports of the Maple Leafs' recent games, standings impact, and Auston Matthews' exact post-game comments as published by established IN.
The last 2 games, it's frustrating. You go into a game against San Jose, you got the lead, and then, the third period wasn't very good. And then obviously on Saturday, I think we're in a position where the game's right there. It's 3-2, bad break on the third goal. But, I just think that the third periods we came out and we were just really flat and didn't have enough energy and just kind of let the game get out of hand.
Auston Matthews broke his silence as the Maple Leafs slid into a slump. December delivered tight losses, late goals against, and growing attention. The captain's words arrived as Toronto searched for steadier results. December 2025 marked a difficult period for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Over several games, the team recorded losses that followed similar patterns. Games remained close. Scoring chances were present. Final results did not favor Toronto. During this stretch, Auston Matthews addressed the media. Matthews acknowledged frustration related to the team's recent play. He described the season as a grind. His comments followed games where Toronto struggled to maintain momentum. Matthews serves as the Maple Leafs captain. He leads the team in ice time among forwards and remains a central part of the team's offense. His comments came as Toronto's scoring pace slowed compared to earlier games in the season. In a recent overtime loss, the Maple Leafs were defeated 3-2 after allowing a late goal in regulation. Toronto had maintained a narrow lead earlier in the game. The opposing team tied the game in the third period before scoring in overtime. In another game during this stretch, Toronto lost after allowing goals late in the third period. The Maple Leafs entered the final period within 1 goal, but did not score again. The loss added to a short run of uneven results. Matthews spoke after these games and addressed the overall performance. He noted that the team needed to manage games better during critical moments. His statements focused on consistency and execution rather than individual play. Earlier in the season, Matthews missed time due to an upper body issue. Team management later confirmed that he returned without restrictions. Since returning, Matthews continued to play heavy minutes and remained active in all situations. Despite the team's slump, Matthews continued to generate scoring chances. He recorded goals and assists during the same period the team struggled to win games. His individual production remained near the top of the team leaderboard. Head coach Craig Berube also addressed the team's performance. He stated that the Maple Leafs needed more than small improvements. His comments followed close losses and focused on accountability across the lineup. Berube's remarks placed attention on the team's team's core group. Matthews, as captain, was part of that group. The comments came while the team remained within playoff position range. General manager Brad Treliving also spoke publicly during this stretch. He accepted responsibility for the team's slow progress. He confirmed confidence in the coaching staff and did not announce immediate roster changes. Treliving's comments came as the NHL trade season opened. Teams across the league began exploring roster options. Toronto was reported to be monitoring the market while continuing to evaluate its current lineup. Matthews' comments did not reference any specific teammate. He focused on team play and overall execution. He stated that long seasons require steady effort and attention to detail across all lines. The Maple Leafs' record during this period reflected several overtime and one-goal losses. These results kept the team close in the standings while limiting upward movement. Matthews continued to wear the captain's C and address media availability following games. His tone remained measured. His focus stayed on performance rather than results alone. Toronto's schedule during December included multiple road games and tight turnarounds. These conditions added to the difficulty of maintaining consistency night after night. As the season moved forward, the Maple Leafs remained active in the playoff race. Team leadership continued to speak publicly following games, acknowledging challenges without announcing major changes. The team's next stretch of games followed shortly after Matthews' comments. Roster health, execution, and scoring efficiency remained tracked through official game reports. Matthews' statements became part of the broader discussion around Toronto's mid-season form. His comments aligned with remarks from coaching and management during the same time period. Toronto continued to practice with adjusted lines. No long-term lineup decisions were announced during this stretch. The Maple Leafs remained one of the league's most closely followed teams. Performance, leadership comments, and results continued to be documented through official league records. As December progressed, the team focused on upcoming games while maintaining position in the standings. Matthews continued to lead the team on the ice while addressing results off the ice.
Well, it definitely does give the team confidence for sure, and knowing that he's back there doing his job above and beyond, making the saves and giving us an opportunity to win a game. Kind of like just rubs, it just goes down the team and gives you more confidence to do things up the ice.
Something changed inside the Toronto Maple Leafs locker room, and it hit faster than anyone expected. A team that looked stalled only weeks ago suddenly tore through 3 playoff teams on the road, stacking goals, silencing crowds, and shifting its entire identity. Craig Berube didn't just steady the room, he flipped it, and what happened next pushed the story even deeper. The Toronto Maple Leafs entered December in a far different position than where they stand now. Their November record of 6-6-2 showed a stretch filled with early losses and a brief losing streak that slowed their momentum. Pressure grew as the team slipped toward the lower end of the Eastern Conference standing. Yet within days, something inside the group shifted, and the change appeared in ways the scoreboard made clear. Toronto went on the road and defeated the Pittsburgh Penguins, the Florida Panthers, and the Carolina Hurricanes. Each of these teams held a playoff spot when the Leafs faced them. Toronto outscored these opponents 16-4 across the 3 games, leaving little space for doubt about the quality of their play. The wins came with control in all 3 zones, and they came fast enough to mark a visible break from the previous month. A photograph from Raleigh showed Auston Matthews celebrating a goal in the second period at Lenovo Center. The credit line stated, "James Galori Imagine Images," and the moment reflected how key players contributed to the shift. The reporting noted that Auston Matthews, William Nylander, John Tavares, among others, all are helping the cause, and those names stayed active across each matchup. Their presence supported the team's broader turnaround during this stretch. Craig Berube's impact appeared across several layers of play. The coverage stated that Toronto beat these opponents in good fashion with no sweat by it nor any kind of nervousness, and that reflected the confidence building inside the lineup. The team won puck battles, generated clutch scoring, and created stronger power play and penalty penalty kill sequences. These developments supported the factual description that the last few games for Toronto have gone about as well as they and head coach Berube could have hoped for. The 3-game performance aligned with another line from the report. The last 3 games for the Maple Leafs have shown the full team effort that they had been hoping to show since the season's beginning. That sentence captured the measurable improvement across the group. Toronto opened December 2nd to 0, and early season concerns shifted as the wins continued to grow, leaving more focus on what these results might lead to next. Craig Berube's structure carried into the story as well. The coverage noted that he is turning things around for this team, tying the coaching approach to the improved results. The team displayed steadier spacing and more synchronized defensive support. These facts came from descriptions inside the articles and aligned with the documented results rather than interpretation. Each game in the streak showed clearer alignment between roster roles and on-ice decisions, reflecting the system Berube set in place. The reporting also emphasized the timing of the shift. It stated, "It took a bit for this to all be figured out for them, but it seems like it all came together now." This detail marked how long the process lasted before the streak formed. It also connected the early season challenges to the more structured play shown in December. Toronto's ability to generate consistent scoring, limit goals against, and perform effectively against playoff teams built factual support for the idea that their season had entered a new phase. The Maple Leafs' location in the standings added tension to the moment. The article pointed out they were towards the bottom of the Eastern Conference standings, making each point gained during the streak significant. The reporting added, if they can keep putting together complete performances like the last 3 games, watch out for them. That line reflected a factual statement from the article, and it captured the attention surrounding what the team might produce next as their schedule continued.
And I think last night is the kind of accumulation of a lot of different things, and last night's a great warning to the group what happens when you're not ready to roll.
Something just shook the Edmonton Oilers locker room. After a crushing 9-1 loss, Connor McDavid stood up and called out his own team. He didn't dodge, he didn't sugarcoat. He said the Oilers were flat, no energy, no emotion. Coming from the captain, that means something. What he said next set the tone for the rest of the season. The Edmonton Oilers are under pressure. They've played 16 games this season, and their record stands at 6 wins, 6 losses, and 4 overtime losses. That's not what fans or the team expected. And after getting blown out 9-1 by the Colorado Avalanche, something had to be said. Connor McDavid said it.
Early on, obviously, we found an issue to bring some of that emotion, some of that energy to the game. That's not fighting. That's not anything. It's just bringing that energy, skating, a little bit more physical.
In his post-game comments, McDavid told reporters, "It's been flat. That starts with me as a leader. There's maybe not been enough energy, not enough emotion, and we have to find a way to bring some of that into the game." This wasn't just about one game. McDavid spoke about the team's attitude over several games. He said, "We all have a hand in bringing just a little bit more, emotionally, physically, and just to our game as a whole." McDavid has 22 points this season, 5 goals, and 17 assists, but he's also -6 at even strength. That shows even the best players on the team are getting outscored when they're on the ice. The loss to Colorado was Edmonton's worst home defeat since 2009. The Avalanche scored goal after goal, and the Oilers didn't have an answer. The team was down 4-0 after the first period, and it only got worse from there. This wasn't just a bad night. It was a wake-up call. The Oilers were supposed to be Cup contenders again. They reached the Stanley Cup final 2 seasons in a row, but right now, their play doesn't match that level. Over the last 10 games, their record is 4 wins, 3 losses, and 3 overtime losses. That's not terrible, but it's not what a contending team expects. Now, with McDavid calling for more effort and emotion, the whole organization is on alert. The message is clear. Things have to change now. McDavid's message wasn't just frustration, it was a warning, and it wasn't only for the player, it reached the coaching staff and front office too. When a captain speaks like this after a blowout loss, it signals a bigger problem inside the team. Coach Chris Knoblauch now faces pressure to respond. Line changes, goalie decisions, and defensive structure are all under review. The Oilers can't afford to let this slide. Their next games are critical. McDavid said, "We have to find a way to bring more." That starts immediately. McDavid's call for emotion matters. Hockey isn't just about skill. It's about fight. The Oilers haven't shown enough of it. They've looked flat, not just in one game, but over several. That's why his comments hit so hard. This also affects the fans. The Oilers have one of the most passionate fan bases in the NHL, a 9-1 home loss sting. And when your best player says the team isn't bringing enough, fans expect action. Behind the scenes, the organization must decide how to fix this. Trades, call-ups, system changes, it's not clear yet. But McDavid just put everyone on notice. He didn't blame others. He included himself, but he didn't stay quiet. His leadership now demands results.